The Bunker Project, podcast episode number 20. Welcome back to another episode of The Bunker Project, where we get together in a local pub and talk about social media, podcasting, technology, and black beer. Welcome back to another episode of The Bunker Project. We're here on Robson Street in Vancouver with the smiley Bob Garlic.
Thank you very much. It's beer number 4.
And today we're going to continue our conversation about social media and
Black beer.
black beer.
I got it in first. Ha ha ha.
You usually do. Sometimes you're sleeping.
No. I take different. Hey, by the way, the last show is 5, 6, 7, 8. Only 9 digressions. So it looks like the content meister, Bobby Garlic, has done his job.
There we go. So today we're going to talk about a few other things. Let's take a look at the notes, Bob.
Yeah, Blippy.com sounds like an interesting comment. Apple Social Network as a failure. And then we got to Google TV. Oh, gotta love that one. And then I got another one here hidden away is diaspora.com and derp, which we will get the definition of derp later.
Diaspora.com, that's like a open source social network.
Well, don't spoil
platform.
it for everybody. We'll get to that later, dude. But we're going to start up with the notes here. But first, let's digress.
Well, now it's an organized digression. It's no longer a natural digression.
Well, okay. Well, no, I'm just really excited because you probably actually, by the time you're listening to this, we've already done it as a special report. But we did have the Brewmeister come on down to the Bunker Bar, and the Brewmeister is the guy that creates the black beer.
For Okanagan Springs.
And as far as sexiness, the guy that creates the black beer, wow. That's all I got to say. And so let's just jump right into the show. Andrew, what do you got to say about Blippy?
Well, you brought that up before the show, and I actually know nothing about it.
Excellent. Do we have anybody in our studio audience that knows anything about Blippy? Sorry. So that's a dead subject. On to Apple.
No, but you can tell us what you know about.
I can't remember. It's like 2 weeks ago. Blippy, all that I know, it says blippy.com. So everybody, blippy.com. Look it up on your, and get back to us. I'd like some phone input on that. So as everybody digs into the pockets of their smartphones. And as that happens,
I'm a website where people obsessively write reviews about everything they buy.
Really? Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, there you go. Blippy. So once again, another social media place to trash brands. Awesome.
To trash or
build them up.
Build them up, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, tell you, it's tough. In this social media world where everybody has their own, basically, TV station, radio station, all wrapped in one with a captive audience, you have a lot of power. In fact, let me tell you a story about Safeway. Safeway's going to hate this because I said I was going to be... Yeah, that place that sells food. Now, you know the way, does anybody, actually nobody knows, at Safeways, you go into Safeway and you get the flyer and it's like, we got milk and it's on special and we get eggs on special. Well, actually, it's never milk and eggs that are on special because that's a staple, but like chips and stuff that's not good for you, that's on special. And the way that works is in the flyer that you receive in the store, the manufacturer, the brands that create those products pay for that to be in that flyer.
Yeah, but not only that, they're forced to pay if they want the shelf space.
Absolutely. Well, that's part of it. So really, Safeway is in the real estate business.
Yep, selling shelf space and advertising.
They sell space. They don't sell products, they sell space. And that's, you're thinking like, hello. You think the consumer would understand it. As soon as you understand that, it's like, oh, okay, great, I can play that game. So the way we buy products is we look, whatever's on sale, that's what we buy. And everything else we don't touch. Because...
Do we? I don't.
That's because you're a downtown dude and you spend...
Valerie does, but when I go in, I just buy... I don't even look at the price. If I need eggs,
no wonder you get in trouble with your wife.
I know. Hang on a sec. What was that?
Are you brand loyal yourself?
Oh, hang on a sec again. Go ahead.
Are you saying you're brand loyal, or are you saying that you just like buying whatever?
He's just
no,
a drunk
I just
guy.
need what I want. I go in and I get it, and I walk out.
He's a man. He's drunk and he's mad. He's like, I want these chips. In fact, I want 5 chips because I don't care the price.
I'll take
and
this,
it's like $49.95,
this.
and you come home and say, honey, what did you buy? I don't care. You get 7 bags. I'm really excited about shopping.
There's also another issue with regards to shelf space.
You have to mic it if you want to talk to us.
There's also another issue with regards to shelf space on a market like Safeway. You need to have the barrier to entry, and I don't recall specifically the figure because this is out of date information. But I think you needed to be able to collateralize about $1 million worth of product.
Yeah, and
Produce
that these facts are coming from a Maven, so this
Especially Walmart.
So that's 6 months out of
places
date
like
at the
Walmart,
maximum.
you have to be big player to be able
Yeah.
to get shelf
Absolutely.
space to begin with.
In
So
Walmart,
we're
you
already-
have to be able to provide the product without being paid for it until it sells.
Yeah. So you
So-
basically
As
you're
consumers,
banking.
We're being directed to big businesses, basically, by big business.
Well, it is,
Yeah.
and the thing is that like the producer of products is also a bank now. You know, and I ran into this problem when I was and still am a small producer of graphic design and stuff like that. I go to a client and they say, "Oh yeah, great, you produce all this stuff and and it's going to take me 2 months to produce." I have to foot the bill and pay for everything, so I'm a banker. So really, the way you got to look at it is you produce a service, your markup of 50 or 80 or 100 and 200% isn't for your talent; it's for you to fund the event. So everybody is a bank. So if everybody had that attitude, and when they started a small business, they would look at it a little bit differently. Because basically, it's like you start your small business. Oh, wow, look at all. You research and say, oh, I can do this for like a fraction of the price what everybody else is doing. And then you get into the business and you realize, well, I'm not going to get paid for 9 months or 3 months or 2 months or 1 month. If you're lucky, 30 days. If you're really lucky, 30 days. And that's usually a 3 or 5 year relationship with somebody. So really, what it's all about is you are a bank. So I got to have $80,000 or $90,000 in cash sitting in my bank to fund my projects for the year, because it takes 6 to 8 months to actually have the things roll around. And I get these big checks for $16,000 and $30,000 and $10,000 and $250 sometimes, or $200, and I put those in the bank and I don't spend it. Because I got to keep my thing at 50 to 80,000. Because if I get a major project like with a major client, they're not going to pay me. We have all these negotiations, and then we produce the stuff, and I pay a bunch of freelance artists to create stuff. We've got a bunch of changes, and we're month 4, and all these freelance guys, they're running by the skin of their teeth because they're not running like a bank. So guess what? Bob the banker pays all these people. And boom, 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 we run along. And that's what it's like producing like games. There's like $2.7 million or $30 million to produce a game. That $30 million is money that this gaming company banked to produce the game.
Well,
and their 7% or 20% or 80% profit is exactly equivalent to what the Bank of America makes. So what's this whole thing about? Oh, you're so expensive. It's well, no, I'm funding you. I'm a bank. Anyway, so that's me, and that's a digression number 1.
I think you're right about the games though, but I think that you can also do games for a lot cheaper than $30 million. But usually, whenever we try to produce games, we actually ask for some of the money up front.
Well, I asked for 33.33%, just because that'll cover my cost. And then the other 33.33% is for messing around and changes and them changing their minds. As, oh, well, we love the game, but we'd like to make a major change in it. We'd like everything to be purple. Well, dude, why didn't you tell us this 6 months ago when we started coding it? Because to make it code, you just created 500 hours extra work. So I was like, yeah, but isn't it easy to make it purple? I said, no, it's not. So that's the other 33%. And then the other last 33% is actually profit, which goes into paying my salary and banking 99.99% of that 33% for the next time I do a project for the 66.6%. It's crazy, but that's the way it works in a freelance world.
For a project like a game, though, that's entirely different. I remember Gears of War. You're probably familiar with that. That I understood it cost $3.5 million to make, but they made $30 million off it.
Yeah, but it's Hollywood accounting. Yes, Hollywood accounting.
Not factoring in all the marketing and everything that was involved.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, I think.
But the kind of market, the kind of.
Yeah, but not every game hits though.
I think Gears of War actually might have cost more than that to produce, but I think they also might have made more money than that. But it's definitely that's a big corporation versus like a freelancer, which is they've got a little bit more money to play with, and they could actually get other investors into it and stuff like that. That's a kind of a different subject, though, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'll have to get that a mark for a digression.
Yeah,
but
'cause if you're a freelancer, though, you're mostly going off yourself. You're not really, getting other people to raise the capital for you. Like you were saying, you're the one that are actually footing the bill for most of the production time and all your designs and stuff like that. So, with most of those studios, they've got other people willing to pay
Epic
for
is
it.
making money off of its engine.
Totally.
So the game itself is just a showcase for the engine.
Totally, yeah.
So what is Epic?
Epic Games is a company that made the Unreal Tournament series.
Ah, right.
Yeah, and the Unreal engine is quite popular. It's second to the Unity engine now, which is currently the main-
when you say quite popular, I think that is what the money in the bank is for those guys. It's not that they have this engine and say whatever. It's they basically got some code that people have made, maps that fit into the code that millions of players can go and play within that parameter of that game. And so they can go to an investor and say, look, we got like 7 million people playing on this basically map or parameter or whatever the term is. If we make a device that fits within, we skin it basically, people will play it. We'll get 7 million people, so maybe we want to get 40% of the market. Who cares? It's still a lot of people.
For an engine, you're not really talking about an engine. It would be like, say, Ford making an engine and leasing it to what they used to do with Mercury.
But they get a percentage of every player.
Yeah, they're
Exactly.
they're getting a license, and they're definitely getting a lot of money.
But
for
then
that
Blizzard
sort
had
of
an engine, wasn't it? Or was-
stuff. Blizzard doesn't really make their own engines.
who
But
owns the what engine?
theirs is like a legacy code thing, I think, and I don't think that they actually allow for other developers to use it.
It's kind of like
necessarily.
a Mac style.
They might allow users to customize it for sure, but I don't think they actually sell it outright like Unreal does to other companies such as EA or Ubisoft or anybody else that really wants to use that kind of stuff. So.
So it's like there's this, it's actually, it sounds very much like what's happening in the PC industry. Is you've got the guys that control everything, like Mac. It's like, hey, Blizzard, we control everything. This is the way it is. If you want to play with us, this is exactly the parameters, and you've got to go through our hoops. And then there's the open source, like PC style. It's like
Or Google style.
Actually, Xbox is one of the worst. Well, not I shouldn't say worst, but they definitely have a lot of hoops to get through in order to get your game onto the Xbox 360 for sure. And you actually have to pay them money to make sure that your stuff works on it. And same with the Apple iPhone store. If you're doing an app or anything like that, they have
brutal.
certain
Yeah,
things that you actually have to go through. You almost have to put your app through like a week ahead of time just to make sure it passes tests in order to even get launched. And you're not even sure it'll even get space on the App Store for people to start viewing it unless you get a large amount of users.
High risk.
It is very high risk, yeah.
So then with everything with high risk, what happens is the boys in marketing come marching in and say, hey, look, you got a high risk situation. Let's take 2/3 of your budget and we'll market the heck out of this baby, and we guarantee that we'll be successful. And really that in a formula, if you take, let's say $1 million, $100 million, $33 million to develop the product, regardless of what it is, whether it's a phone or anything, and then you take $66 million to promote and make people aware that this product exists, guaranteed it will be successful. Now, if you scale it down and you have, you scale it
There's
down
a
to
list
like,
of
we've got
failures
to,
there.
Rich might disagree with that.
There's a list of failures out there.
yeah, but in the long run, but look at,
His latest book.
oh, hey, look at guys. With social media, it's flip that sucker on its head. I know. But really, in the old days, that's the way it worked. And I worked in projects where we spent like $7 million in 21 weeks to promote a real estate project, and it sold 80% of the project in the first month. And because of that, they had a hostile takeover, and everybody got greedy and stuff like that. So it was a formula that worked in the old days. Now with social media marketing, you still spend that much money, but it's spent on different things. Instead of buying TV and like 50 newspapers, is you got all this social media. You've got people that are doing all sorts of stuff on Twitter, blah, 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 blah.
The premise is word of mouth marketing. That's always been the mainstay of marketing.
Absolutely.
Something that sells, if people like it, they tell their friends.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
social media builds on that.
In the old days, it used to be, hey, did you see that really cool TV ad that Coca-Cola did? Oh, it was awesome. It was great. Yeah, that Pepsi, it's not so cool, and I hated that ad. That was the social interface that was happening. That was a conversation people were having. One of the
Now it's the same. It's just that the social platforms make it easier to spread the word quicker.
absolutely.
The water cooler is digital.
Yeah,
Yep.
you can be on your soapbox.
Water cooler is digital.
You can be
I
on your
like that.
soapbox at
Yeah,
any moment.
absolutely. So, speaking of soapbox, getting back to what we started with, so I'm going to take one of these demographics away. Safeway. I went in there with Safeway. That's a milk that was bad. Halfway through, had 4 days before we said, go in and say, hey, here's the milk, replace the product. And the manager, who was young, and said, well, he took his fingers and he measured and said, okay, I'll give you 2 liters back. And I looked at him and I said, it's like, do you have any idea the world we live in right now with social media, Twitter and stuff like that? You know who you're talking to? So no, I said, hey, so is that...
Do you have any idea who
Did you
you're
really
talking
say
to?
that? Did you say, do you know
I'm
who
the-
you're talking to?
Yeah,
I'm in the bunker project.
No. I was
gonna
thinking,
try
no,
using that.
this in the back of my head. I was saying, okay. So I said, so is that your brand statement? Is that what Safeway's policy is? That's what I said. Is this the official policy for Safeway? What you're saying right now, this is the official. It's your call. That's what I said to this guy. He's like 21, 22 years old, and his eyes bugged out. And he's like, oh, crap. I said, oh, no. And I said, so it's your call, dude. And he said, yeah. He called it. I said, great. Please put your name down here. I want your number. I want the store number. And I'm going to call head office. And he wrote it down like a fool instead of saying, okay, you got me. Here's the milk. He could have stopped it there. And so I phoned head office. Oh, sorry. Head office is closed. And they have this answering machine. No, please leave it. Hi, it's Bob Garlic. Here's my number, blah, blah, blah. I have this issue, and I'm really pissed off with one of your managers at your store. The store's number 41. Please get back to me right away. 48 hours later, they haven't get back to me. Hi, this is Bob. Now I'm pissed off with customer service. I don't care about the milk. Why are you treating me like you need? If you don't get back to me in 24 hours, I'm going to make this a Twitter campaign. Thank you very much. Then I called the manager at the store, because it was 10 o'clock at night when I did this first thing. I said, hey, you know what? I had this really bad incident with your manager. And he said, oh, my God. And he jumped on it right away. He said, but, and he, oh, I'm really sorry. And yeah, of course we're going to replace the milk. And he said, no. That's not what I'm pissed off about now. I called head office. In fact, I called head office in the United States. That's the guy that owns Safeway in Canada. And they didn't get back to me because it was the holiday.
Safeway's not Canadian?
No, it's owned by U.S. So now I've trumped them. I say, look, I'm not even interested in talking with Canada. I've talked to the U.S. and they didn't get back to me in 24 hours. So now U.S. is in trouble with me. So you start to see that he said, because we have social marketing and media, as the consumer, I have power now. Because if you mess with me, I'm just going to Twitter about you. I'm just going to mess you up on Facebook. And 500 million people play in the Facebook sandbox. And if I get something started, it could go viral. And guess what? You lost 500 million customers.
Your brand has been tarnished.
Your brand has just got wiped out, tarnished.
hey,
you
you know,
just,
like,
you didn't play anymore. So this is
It's like Starbucks customer service training. They say never, ever tick off a customer over a couple of
lose
bucks.
$100
Because
if it takes to make them happy.
Look at them as they're going to spend that $2 for the next 20 years every day.
This is a $10,000 client.
So so look at it like that, and if they have a problem with their coffee, replace it right away.
Absolutely,
and they do.
No question.
They
In
do.
fact, they'll say, we had somebody to order a chocolate double espresso, blah 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 blah. They didn't like. We made a mistake. Who wants it for free? And they'll give it away, which is an awesome policy. So, anyways, the end of the story is, what's really interesting is that I went on the internet. So, okay, I'll fight this internet. So I sent an internet thing to Safeway, the internet interface. They made the ridiculous amount of information they made me put into it, blah, blah, blah. And I said, oh, yeah, I got a problem, blah, blah, blah. And this is about, please get back to me right away. It took the internet interface a week to send me an email back. And the email was like, oh, we're really sorry about this, da-da-da. And then they tried to upsell me on their product. Thank you for playing. So Safeway gets a D for social marketing and media. Where they get an A is their store managers have a little bit of integrity. So really what it says is large organizations have a huge burden to catch up with what's going on in the real world. And people that understand the empowerment of Twitter and social media and stuff like that, if you go into a store, you are the boss, and that's a wonderful thing that's happening.
Yeah.
So tell me.
Well, no, I'm just saying Whole Foods, like especially Capers down on Robson, are terrific. I mean anything. Like you say, even if it's one day, the due date, and your milk goes bad or whatever, they don't even hesitate.
Yeah, and there's 1 inch left on 4 liters.
That's
It's
right.
like, boop, no problem.
It might also help
they're
if
really
you,
good at that.
instead of saying, replace this, if you say, nicely say,
I kind of agree.
you know
with
what I
Hey,
mean?
I was nice about it. It's
You-
like, hi, I'm Bob. This is a product.
No,
da, 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 da.
you in your description, though, when you were describing it, you said you walked up to the guy and said, this is bad, replace it now.
There's some old,
Yeah, I think you're peeking your mics there, dude.
Yeah.
there were some old stats I remember where it used to be, from what I recall, and this is old information again, but marketers used to know, or it used to be common knowledge, that someone who was happy with a product would tell 1 or 2,
Oh, yeah.
maybe 3 people.
People are
Someone
unhappy,
who was
tell 10.
unhappy would tell 8, 10, 12
Yeah.
people.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's just increased by orders of magnitude on
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
imagine if you're happy, you can contact 10,000 people, and if you're unhappy, 5 to 10 million people.
Although, on
the power would be how many people are following you on Twitter.
social media,
If you can
though,
go into a store and say, I've got 1,000 followers.
Yeah.
Satisfy me.
sites like
want your
Yelp,
product.
Yelp.com and other sites where you can rate businesses. You look at a lot of the businesses and they've got a lot of good ratings. So it's I'm not sure. I think because it's easy now to voice your opinion, I think that maybe that statistic is a little bit buffered now.
Yeah, that's an old statistic.
Yeah.
Definitely.
With social media, I think it makes it so easy. If you're used to going to these sites and you give reviews for everybody, it kind of levels it a little bit. But for word of mouth, you're going to remember the bad experience more than the good experience for sure.
There's another site that comes to mind called ripoffreport.com.
Mm-hmm.
That's another one where it's a wide range of different types of scams, in case people are interested.
Rip-off report. So can you mark that down for the show notes, Bob?
All right, hang on.
Rip-off
I'm
report.
struggling with a camera here. I'll digress that one.
I want to add a company that isn't Safeway to this list, and I want to see what Bob thinks about this. Future Shop.
Oh, don't! I wouldn't even go into those stores. They're a bunch of.
Well, Future Shop doesn't even have their own Twitter.
I don't even.
There's a lot of companies,
give you an
surprisingly,
idea
that
how
have not gone onto social
but
media.
Twitter.
Future Shop. It just like let's face it. I bought a product with those guys. I've gone back to. I've physically gone into the customer service, and the guy says, "No, we're going to help you." So you go, "Okay, fine. Here's your product. Here's your $45 product. Please take it. I will never work with you guys again, and for the rest of my life, I am going to trash your brand because you're a bunch of assholes." And here I am on the air saying, "Trust me, they're a bunch of losers."
Interestingly enough, Best Buy is the exact opposite.
Well,
of this
Best
guy.
Buy is owned
They're
by
the
the same
same
company.
company.
I know,
Yep.
and that's what I figured. And I will never shop at Best Buy.
You know what the difference though is?
Yeah, they charge too much for their products.
No, Future Shop
The prices
salesmen
are
are on
the same.
commission.
Yeah.
Best Buy salesmen work on a salary.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
what
yeah.
the difference.
So
That's
they
the
don't,
difference.
Yeah, exactly. It's
So-
knowledge based.
Not all-
but
not all
still, their
employees,
products
though,
are still way
in Future
overpriced.
Shop are on commission.
So you go into Future Shop and you get customer service right away because they want to sell something.
Well, only the guys that I think are in the black shirts, I think, are the actual.
They don't know
commission guys.
anything about their products.
The blue ones definitely don't. Though.
They don't know anything about their products. They're like, trust me, I've gone in there.
I think
they have
it depends on
yeah.
the salesperson because there are some really good
There
Yeah,
are
salespeople.
some good sales guys out
sure,
there.
I know,
Yeah.
but the problem is the way the brand works. They don't support those guys. If it was a good organization and it was cool, they would take all the
Well-
guys that are into it and say, "Hey, look, you guys are our mavens."
They used to do.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
but they
same-
don't anymore, so their brand loses.
That. Yeah.
Their brand loses, but it's the same with any organization. There's really good salespeople that have people that refer customers to them, and they're very, very busy. And then there's the salespeople that are just there passing time and waiting for the next job.
Just a
and,
bunch of teenagers
and,
killing
It's
time.
training. It's corporate culture and training. How do
Yeah.
you train
Yeah,
staff?
exactly. How can we?
yeah, let's talk about the Apple
Yeah,
Store.
like 10,000 people and filling it down
totally
to one
different
good
situation.
person,
You
yeah.
walk into the Apple Store and the experience is 100% different
Well, yeah,
and
but
consistently good.
But that look at the organization. Like we created a whole pile of products. We're a multi-billion-dollar organization. We're making tons of money. Oh, let's open some brick-and-mortar stores. Instead of we've got a bunch of brick-and-mortar stores, we're going to build up to a multi-million-dollar organization, and then we're going to go to the virtual. It's going the opposite way. So their whole approach is different. They understand that, like, wow, you know what? Customer service, great products important. Customer service is awesome. Look at when we do these open forums, millions of people discuss stuff and help us, and wow, knowledge is important. So when we open our brick and mortar stores, maybe we shouldn't be spending all our money on really pretty displays, but having a really neutral display with a guy that knows what the heck he's talking about, and putting Mavens in there, which is called the Apple Guru?
The Apple Guru.
Yeah, exactly.
Genius.
The Apple Genius. Apple Genius bar, right?
Yeah.
Now that is genius.
There are some really good people, though, that work at those Apple stores, and they actually do provide quite a bit of education on their products afterwards,
awesome.
too, especially if
Well,
you
they're
buy like a
impassioned.
MacBook Pro. They're totally covering their brand, and I think that's excellent the way that they're doing it.
Well, the thing with Apple is it's an evangelized sales thing. It's like people are so into it, it's almost like a religion.
We sell iPhones at our store, and we were kind of ticked off with the whole Apple policy of taking control of the whole service department. So if you buy an iPhone from TAC Mobility, and you have a service issue, we're not allowed to help you. So we were kind of upset with that. We can take a look at the phone, but we can't do anything. We have to refer you to an Apple store. I haven't had one person complain about the service at the Apple store yet. So,
yeah, because you get
they
like
do.
unbelievable. Oh, hi, I've got a little crack in my.
Their training, though. That's corporate culture.
Yep.
I mean, when an organization gets big, then you have numerous people that you have to be able to empower with the same information and have them deliver a consistent message.
Mm-hmm. And the networks are ticked off with Apple because Apple's got such a powerful brand that they can dictate to the networks are used to saying, okay, we want this phone, we want this specs, we want this, we want it to look like this,
Apple's
and
like,
slap our brand on the front of it. And Apple's like,
Go away. Hey,
you're telling us that you don't want our product, and then of course it's the hottest product on the market in the wireless world, and they can say this is it, this is our. They can even say, and they do say, that if you have our product, it can't be next to anybody else's product. You have to have your own display for their product, and it's unbelievable. But they know what they're doing.
That's message consistency. They're smart in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. So, speaking of Apple,
all right, here we go.
Speaking of Apple, you were talking about the failed.
Apple's now bigger.
Okay, yeah, okay.
The failed social music network that they were setting up.
Okay, we have an internal
How's it
debate
failed?
happening here. We have an internal debate happening with our organization here. Okay, now covering that mic will not save you. Anyways, so yeah, we're talking about Apple has failed, which is Apple is so successful. Apple has totally failed with its new thing that they brought onto iTunes, which is the you joined it, and I joined it too. You told me about it.
Mobile
actually.
Me?
No, MobileMe is a different platform. It's
No. What's that? No. It's all about the music industry and joining. What's it? No, it's
no within iTunes you
Ping?
can Ping.
Thank
Yes.
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ping. Apparently, in 1 week they had 1 million or 2 million people subscribe, and that, according to a lot of the discussions going, is a failure. Imagine that 2 million people join your organization, and it's a bit of a failure.
It's not the
Because
joining.
It hasn't grown.
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's the
No,
interaction.
There's nothing there. There's no
and nothing's
interaction.
happening.
It's dead. It's like you join Ping, and then I join Ping, and this is what I'm interested in, and then I go back and visit it. Nothing, absolutely nothing. The problem is they've got a platform, they've got an ability for millions of people to join, but the reason those millions of people joined was to get feedback from the bands and stuff. Those bands is like, what, Ping? You want us to work for us? Forget it. We're not going to be PR for you guys. So what they got to do is basically what's happened is the PR guys just haven't got up to speed on it. Really what they should have done is gone to all the PR agencies and saying, hey, look, we launched the thing Ping, you're in the music industry, it's a wonderful platform to promote your bands, and we want you to do a bunch of cool personal video stuff, and we'll upload it, and we'll pay for that bandwidth, and blah, 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 blah. They didn't do that. So bing, pling, blop.
Yeah, it's
failure.
kind of like Google's Wave.
Oh yeah.
Hey, that thing might be coming back. Don't.
Yeah, coming back as
Yeah, but
Apache.
it's going to come as
Apache
Facebook.
Wave.
No, it's
Apache Wave.
going to come back as
Yeah.
Facebook. That's what it's going to
No,
come.
it's coming back as Apache Wave.
Well, isn't the guy that started Wave in Facebook now?
I think. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he was
think-
hired by.
I think
yeah.
Mark Zuckerberg did go after.
And that, in fact, Google is so freaked out. Okay, this is a couple of weeks old, this news, but like everybody got a 10% raise, and that's for the nobodies. The big guys got big bucks, so it's hundreds of millions of dollars went down because people are trying to stop people from leaving Google and going to Facebook. Because let's face it, Facebook is the future. Sad as that may sound. Anyways, we have a couple of people leaving. We have a little young lady that's got to go. We got the mother that has to be responsible and get her. Thank you for the interview, young lady. All right.
Thanks for showing us Fred.
Yeah, exactly. Great, very cool. He was very irritating. She actually came in during the break and played some Fred for us. This is for the previous show, people that listen to it. She played some. Yes, Fred is very irritating, very entertaining for kids. She loves Fred. And she showed us the pizza where he actually, basically, Fred, he is on this major corporate ticket. He's got his own cameraman, his sound man. They're in a hotel room. They trash the hotel room, and that's the segment. And Fred goes nuts. I didn't know. Last time we was in a major 5-star hotel, they only had booze and chocolate bars. Apparently, this hotel had frozen pizza in the
And a
$30
$30 restocking fee
yeah,
if you take
30,
one
yeah.
$2 chocolate bar.
Yeah, so that one's to be a $30 pizza that you didn't like and spat out on the carpet. Au revoir. Thank you for coming. We expect to see you and say hi to Mira for us. All right. Au revoir.
Bye-bye.
So that I will use that digression.
So,
I'm not going to count that digression.
So yeah, that's
we're doing
another-
really good. We're only at 4 digressions.
I think we forgot a couple.
What?
Between Ping and iTunes.
Ping is a social network that was added to iTunes in order so you could talk about your favorite bands and
Yeah, like socializing. I was like fans.
Like tweet for iTunes, isn't it?
Yeah, it was
Well,
kind of like
no,
that, but
it's-
not really.
No, it's more like what's that? That was that failed service.
iTunes, Apple?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I know. It's just like so. You got to remember that our studio audience, we have a very vast spectrum of knowledge here. We have a Maven, we have other people.
By the way, speaking of iTunes, I just recently switched over to a Windows Phone 7. I have to say I'm
Nice.
pretty impressed with the Zune platform. The one thing that I really dislike is that there is no Zune marketplace for podcasts in Canada yet.
yeah, well, Zune fails.
Coming soon.
But you know what? We're going to talk to the Zune guy. Who's that Zune guy you talked to a couple of
he's a
months ago?
Windows rep.
Yeah, so we should give him a call and say, "Hey, dude, what's with the failure?"
Well, he told me it's coming soon, but I don't know what that means. So yeah, they're really pushing it. But in Canada, they haven't launched the marketplace except for apps. You can get apps from your Zune interface, but you cannot get podcasts. So in order for me to subscribe to a podcast in the Canadian Zune marketplace, I have to know the RSS feed for the podcast. I can't search for social media or natural health or whatever I'm interested in. I actually have to already know the RSS feed. But what I did as a roundabout is just subscribe in iTunes, and then my Zune will sync with my iTunes and pull the information. So but that's not what Microsoft wants to be happening. They want you to use the thing. So I know they want to bring it out. There's just, for whatever reason, it's taking time.
I think most of their effort is being spent on the Xbox. 'Cause that seems
Yeah.
to be where they're
And
consolidating.
actually, that's our next topic. Is we were talking about before the show. We were talking about Apple TV
Oh,
and how
Xbox.
Apple TV has not taken off yet because you need to buy specific hardware,
It's
proprietary. Whereas with the Xbox,
They've just unlocked it.
A lot of people already have the Xbox.
Yeah.
And now you'll be able to get TV. You can already get Netflix.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need Netflix.
It's the death of the networks. It's death of the networks.
Yeah, so you can get Netflix on Wii too.
Yeah, and PSP, I believe.
PS3, yeah.
PS3, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that-
actually, yeah, you can. I'll have to check into it, but I think you can do PSP, can watch.
Yeah, well, the
I
whole
don't know.
issue is really it's the content. Down in the States, you say, "Oh yeah, we're going to do this thing," and then everything is available because of the copyright laws. Suddenly, when you go international, if you're going to ship to Canada, or Europe and stuff, just like, oh, the lawyers step up and say, hey, hang on, you got to
Yeah, but it
renegotiate. We want another 5%. Da, da, da.
Didn't
And they
it
say,
take
whoa, we can't
for
afford it.
Netflix to get to the point in the States where they are now? It took them a while to get all that content too.
Universal. I said Sony earlier, but I meant Universal just signed up through Xbox. They'll be offering their content through it. So NBC Universal content, you'll be able to get it through.
And then there's Google TV as well.
Yeah, that's like a YouTube, except it's more specialized.
It's like adding like a Google search to your content on your TV channel subscription, as well as YouTube and the entire internet in terms of multimedia content on the internet. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, you can get Twitter on Xbox and Facebook as well already. So, they're definitely improving their brand with the amount of quality of stuff that they're bringing for it, for sure.
Even the Kindle, you can tweet out excerpts from the books you're reading using your Kindle.
Really?
Yeah.
That's actually quite cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. There's so many things going on.
Yeah, it's very convergence media now, I think. I think that's the key to it.
You can get Kindle for your iPod.
So Tommy's getting a headache from all this technology.
I'd like to see iBooks actually do that, being able to tweet something from the new update, which they added the iBooks
Yeah.
into.
Speaking of books, Amazon's gotten itself into hot water recently because they've been taking books from Project Gutenberg, which are
Open source, yeah.
Yeah, public domain.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been charging for them.
No, right. I didn't hear that at all.
It was just I like to visit the Huffington Post, and they're pretty good for that. That was an article today that I just read.
Wow. So they're actually charging for the
content that's free that you can get
non-copyrighted
if you go to Project Gutenberg
material.
Amazon's taking it. What they do is they just strip the copyright information from it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the general open source, this is Project Gutenberg. This belongs to the public domain. They strip that information out. They may adjust some content, fix some typos, that kind of stuff, and then they turn around and charge for that content.
And they're not even they're not repurposing the content or referencing the content with a new work. They're actually just
in some cases it's the exact same file.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, Amazon definitely doesn't sound like they're having much fun, for sure.
Hey, all I gotta say is my black beer has just arrived. Oh my goodness! Look at the head on
black
that
beer
baby.
number 5.
Look at the head on that baby, and my beer's looking good too. How did he sneak that sucker in? I tell you.
That's what she said.
Oh, ouch, ouch, ouch.
Yeah.
All
Hey,
right.
for those of you who are in my Facebook fan page, Bob took a picture of. He downloaded a picture of the what do you call those things? The
Mustache?
No.
Oh.
The
Movember.
No. The picture, the ultrasound picture of my.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He took.
Yeah, congratulations.
That's the danger
So
of
I'm
Facebook.
having
The danger of Facebook.
we are having a child.
You and your
and-
lovely lady.
Are having a child, and we had an ultrasound, and Valerie posted it on her Facebook page, and then Bob downloaded.
Now
that
hang on.
picture.
Did you paste it? Who posted it first? Her
She
or-
posted it, and then
yeah.
I shared it on
Smart
my page
move.
too.
Smart move. That's a.
And then Bob photoshopped a microphone, a Shure
Podcast from the womb.
58
58.
beta,
Yeah, beta. Yeah,
and
quality unit.
put that in there, and because it's waterproof, of course, and so the placenta and all that stuff. Yeah.
Doesn't mess with the acoustics.
Yeah. So he put that in there, and it's just hilarious.
Is there good acoustics in that womb?
Well, the problem is you have to have a limiter because of the heart being going.
Yeah, he's saying, how are you going to fit
filter
the
that
heart
sucker
limiter
out.
gate in there to take the sound of the heart out?
But if you did a podcast,
And in Liquid,
live from the womb, you'd have to have the fa-foom, fa-foom, fa-foom in the background.
Yeah.
That'd be ambient sound.
that would be great. It would add to the whole ambience and
Well, I mean, we started with the
Authenticity and-
podcast, river podcasting. What was it like?
yeah.
River Rapids podcasting.
yeah. He's done a series of these. We should create
Two.
a blog post.
Two.
No, there's been more than 2. There's
Really?
3.
Wow.
It started with
it is 3. Oh, then it's a series.
the river rafting.
Hey, let's do a
with the
shout out.
mic.
Let's do a shout out. And sorry to interrupt.
Then
you.
it was
No,
the Doug
okay.
and Bob thing.
So
Remember
obviously
the
you're
Doug
not
and
gonna
Bob
let me
one?
interrupt them.
The Doug and Bob one?
I'm not
Remember?
talking to you anymore.
And then the ultrasound one. Okay, shout out for what?
Well, I'm upset. I don't want to talk. You just so. Go ahead. So I'm just imitating
I think I'm
somebody.
going to
that's
go into the back room and sleep.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, come on, let's not mimic your wife when she's having a hormonal thing. So, anyways, yeah, all I'm saying is a big shout out to everybody sending me pictures, and I'll add a mic to anything. No pornography, please. Okay, you can send it, but we're not going to post it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, Facebook has strict rules about that stuff.
Yeah, but they don't have strict rules about big black lines.
What?
Censored.
Big what?
Big black lines. Black beer lines. Oh,
You're
sorry.
talking about lines over
Yeah,
body
like
parts.
cleavage or crotches and stuff like so.
Okay,
You can.
I had no idea what you're talking about.
Well, it's really easy to Photoshop because you say, "Oh yeah, I put this beautiful mic and it was beautifully," but I had to censor it, so I had a big black line put over top of it. So all I have to do, put the big black line. I've done.
I have some friends that are burlesque photographers, and they actually get their pictures reported by people that aren't usually their friends, and Facebook will actually come and tell them take down that photo until you have
Boy,
big black lines across it. So
nice.
and they actually are still covered up though, and so it's kind of weird and strange how they're doing that.
Well, it's the evangelistic editors. What can I say?
There was a site that I saw not that long ago, just a few days ago. I'll have to find the link. But anyways, what they do is they bubble photographs, and they'll take models that are fully, not fully clothed, but will have clothing on, like bathing suits or something, and they strategically place these little holes that reveal the person, but everything else is covered, so it looks like pornography, but it's not.
Yeah, they actually put bubbles all over the picture.
Implied pornography,
they'll
very
actually-
nice.
They just have the facial thing. It's actually what these some. I think it's an alternative for. It was for Mormon people. It was from Utah.
Yeah.
A guy from Utah did it, and it was so he wouldn't have to think about the imagery. So he just could get the face, but he wouldn't get all the body parts.
You'd see like a portion of the hand or a leg that was exposed, but when you saw the actual photo, the person in the photo was clothed.
Looked like Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, it's
I
kind
like
of a-
it. Well, actually, I was looking at a YouTube today at 1.87 million views, and it was this, I think it was Japanese lady, and it said the Pepsi Cola experiment. The picture is what's interesting. You click on it, and it says this girl, and she's got this Pepsi Cola or Coca-Cola can. She puts some Mentos in it, and she goes in, and it goes crazy, and nothing happens. But when you look at the little square that they show on YouTube, it looks like she's naked. It's weird. And that's not why I clicked on it, by the way. It's because it said Pepsi Cola.
Hey, what about that that commercial from Germany? I think it was that was on. I think it went viral on a YouTube ad too, and it was or a YouTube video, and it was an advertisement for underarm deodorant or something, and it showed the guy's armpit really up close, but it didn't look like an armpit up
It
close.
looked kind of like a
Looked like a woman.
cleavage, right?
It looked like a woman's
a womanly part. A womanly
woman's,
part, yes.
yeah, the backside of a woman, and then
Oh, I
it played
thought it was
this
the other
music,
side.
and it turns around like the camera spins around, and you can see that it's this guy's armpit, and you're like, oh man.
Man, what a ripoff. So, it's one of the downsides of YouTube. No, but okay. So let's talk about viral video and how it works. Is they're saying there's a formula that said, okay, it's got to be relevant to your audience. It's got to talk to your audience, stuff like that. Let's face it, right? There's just a bunch of guys out there that just want to see women that are naked or men that are naked or something, and they'll click on anything that looks like that. And in fact, there's people that game you. It's a naked woman or a scanning, and you click, and they say, like, the democratic problem, blah blah blah, and it's some politics. What? I feel that I've been abused.
Sex sells.
They used to do
They
that.
said, well, sex clicks.
Yeah.
It's beyond that. Sex will make you click.
They used to do that a lot of the times on
They still
like
do.
LimeWire or Kazaa or any of those things
Yeah.
back in the day with like movies and stuff like that. You think you'd be downloading, not that I'm condoning downloading movies or I've ever done that, but they would trick you that way. And
cough there.
yeah, sorry about that cough there. Yeah. But they would actually trick you, and they'd be like, haha, you thought you were getting this. Now this is a bunch of me and my friends jumping off trampolines and hurting ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then
but-
Jackass got spawned, so I don't know if that was their viral
Well,
marketing, but-
I think the problem is it's kind of like you go to these places that got like a flash, and it goes on, and you're going like, yeah, well, I don't want to look at this, and where's the make the flash go away button? But while that's happening, you're still exposed to that brand and still exposed to the message. So if you're going to create a message that's like that, you got to say, product name. Oh, and then explain the product name, because by the time you've got to your fourth product name mention, they've clicked the, I want to play the game. So at least you've exposed your product name 4 times.
Yeah,
All right,
this is
so,
basic psychology. I mean, when they came up with the Discover card, for example, that was one of the words that attracts people's attention. So they pick that name for a credit card because it's a term that when people see it piques their interest.
Yeah.
So
Hey, by the
it's
way, what
like
do you get with
free
a Discovery card?
It's just a credit card.
Discover.
You don't get, like, free Discovery? You need to go to a lawyer, like, I got a Discovery
Sure,
card.
you
I don't
can
have to pay for
discover
Discovery.
anything you want if you're willing to
Yeah.
put it on credit.
So,
Damn, I hate when they use
so
those
Bob,
words.
how's the show notes going? Have we covered everything, or are we?
How are we doing for time?
We are 45 minutes.
Okay, so I'll skip that extra page that I've got here. And we'll just jump right into people getting groped at airports. This
Oh,
is
did you
a
hear about
big
the
one.
guy?
You gotta love
Don't
that guy.
touch my junk.
Some guy got arrested because he ejaculated when he was getting. Oh yeah. This
He
was in
got
the-
all
this was-
excited.
It was in.
He got
it was in
arrested
the-
for
It was
that?
in the news yesterday.
Yeah, you know what that's
He got
called?
arrested because during a pat down,
He got patted down too much. Extra
he,
pat.
yeah.
Just takes an extra pat.
Some woman
Is that a word that I can say in a podcast?
Pat?
He,
Yeah, you can pat it.
Okay.
But yeah, well, that's as a weapons of mass destruction. That's all I can say.
Yeah. So
It's true. You don't want to get me on that conversation. So yeah, a lot of people are getting pissed off about it. There was actually last month, because you're listening to it now, but last month they had basically go to the airport day and say, no,
yeah.
I'm not getting x-rayed, and I
And
want you
they-
to pat me down day, and I want you to pat me down in public.
And nobody showed up.
No, a lot of people showed up. And the thing is, there was
They
a porn
just,
star showed up.
Ah.
And she took a video camera. And she went through the whole procedure and she played her video camera. Now, a lot of it, you can't see anything, but the whole conversation's there. And yeah, pretty interesting. That's another wonderful little YouTube gem. And we will put that on our show notes.
But on the boycott pat down day, they decided not to do pat downs. So they're little, they're
Well, hang on. They decided to do pat downs on pat. So that's the power of social media.
yeah.
Right? So if every day was pat down day, maybe they would turn it off. Not. Well, the whole option is
They just
you
didn't
can get
wanna-
x-rayed and maybe get cancer, or you can have somebody grope your junk. So your choice. You want to get cancer or you want to get embarrassed in public? Your choice. Actually, they'll do it in private, which that's even weirder.
I don't know.
Really?
I think personal safety is actually quite a big concern. I mean,
Yeah, but the whole thing, the whole argument is it's post-event. It's like the underwear guy that came in with his underwear problem. In fact, you can buy underwear that doesn't show up on X-ray anymore. In fact, you can buy underwear that says you.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you get the X-ray, it just tells, oh, okay, obviously this guy's got an attitude. But basically, it's post-event. So they'll say, okay, all the terrorists are going to say, okay, well, we won't do it that way. We'll do it another way. What's the point? The shoes, you take the shoes off. Do you have to take your shoes off now?
Yes. I went
right.
through the
I
airport.
always do it all the time anyways, just as a concern that I have.
Well, a lot of people pass out when you take your shoes off.
This is just a
That's
sign
that's
of
one of the
victory
reasons
for
why I
the
don't get
terrorists.
patted down, though.
Yeah, exactly.
All this is a sign of victory for the terrorists.
Yeah, that's what I agree.
Absolutely.
It's nothing more than that. The more
Absolutely. It's just changing the culture.
The more,
Well, they-
more
But, you know-
fearful we are, the more successful they are.
Yes.
That's
But
their
you-
entire goal.
But, you know, the whole thing
100% I
is
agree.
in our society, because I didn't live in this society for many, many years, and in our society, the way the liberties and the freedom that we've got doesn't exist in the rest of the world. You go to Lebanon, and what's interesting about they don't do pat downs and stuff like that. They have military staff that grill you, and they look you right in the eye, and they're trained. And the big issue now is the United States will not pay for people to be properly trained to interrogate people. They say, if somebody's got certain, the guy looks a little nervous, he's sweating, boom, you come here, and the guy looks at you and say, hey,
yeah, but they can't interrogate.
are you a
everybody
terrorist?
anyways.
No, I know, but if you're a terrorist or you're somebody in an organization, you know that they've got highly trained military staff that will interrogate people. You will be a lot nervous about some idiots that have no idea and thinking about their lunch, and they have these x-ray machines. You can slip stuff through real easy. So really all it is a way for a large organization to pitch a concept to make hundreds of millions of dollars in profit for some
security
bogus
firms
product.
are-
It's
yeah.
total BS. That's
fellow-
all. It's just a ripoff.
The fellow who was in charge of security for the U.S., his name doesn't come to mind at the moment, but he's been making a lot of money off of this.
Oh, yeah.
Every chance he gets when he's on air, he pushes the fear button. And he,
Yep.
Well, it's
I have a
Politics by
quote
Fear.
here.
There's some books out there that's called Politics by Fear. It's basically, the reason, okay, we're in Canada, we're talking about American politics, sorry about that. But, in Canada, there's no this politics by fear. We're just like so bludgeoned by taxes where we're like barely.
sure about that. The conservatives really do push the fear button. too.
Well, they're
Those who
copying the
sacrifice
U.S.
Liberty
They're
for security deserve neither. That's Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah,
All right, Benjamin.
and that's a theme that
Now, my question is,
we could spend a whole podcast talking about that theme.
my question is, if Benjamin Franklin had a Facebook account, would you friend him? Or would you think he's a complete nutcase? No, in today,
I don't know if does he have a picture of him flying his kite?
well, but we say flew the kite today and electrocuted
Wait,
my
that's
dog.
Thomas Edison,
It's
sorry.
the
Was that
imagine.
Franklin? Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Imagine if social media was available and everybody had Facebook back in Benjamin Franklin days. Imagine what his post about. Went out, electrocuted my dog. I'm gonna try something else today. And he electrocutes all these animals and his frog and stuff like that. And he's like, I figured out
That sounds like
electricity.
a great
The
YouTube
guy
video.
is a total nutcase. I'm defriend. Oh my god, the guy's crazy. He's probably gonna get audited by the government. He's so nuts.
And well, at that time, electricity didn't exist, or we didn't know about it. So he discovered something new. I would imagine that. if
So
he
it's
was living
his problem
today-
that we got social media.
He'd be
I
like
would
the Justin
imagine-
Bieber of the social media world. Back
No, he'd be more like
Maybe like
Well, it
Mark
depends on his
Zuckerberg.
PR team.
Mark Zuckerberg, you think? Yeah.
he'd be more like a Nicholas Tesla.
Tesla.
Well, yeah.
Well, Tesla's pretty new,
But
man.
we don't
Tesla's
really
still
have
around.
We don't. No, he's not. He's long gone.
No, the concept. The thing, the Tesla coil. It's still kind of science fiction. And there's the Tesla coil with his instrument that goes.
He did a lot more than that.
Yeah.
I know, but that's what people know him from about. And look at that movie they made about the magicians. What was it called? Remember that fantastic one about the magicians? And Tesla was part of that.
Yep.
And it was like crazy electrical stuff going on. They're demonizing the guy, and he's dead. Is that fair? Social
Well,
media.
he
If he
was-
had his own fan page, he'd be
he
big.
had a. It's a good story with him
I
and
would-
Thomas Edison.
Actually, he does
I
have his
would-
own fan page.
I would friend Tesla.
I have Copernicus under my friend Facebook.
Hey,
friend
by the way, I friended McDonald's today.
McDonald's?
Yeah, they only had because only 5 people were following them. I felt sorry for them.
Well, you wouldn't.
Grease are us.
You just were happy to get the free coffee for the last.
No, well, unfortunately, I don't drink coffee.
Oh yeah, that's right. All right, so I think that wraps up the show. We're
Oh,
at,
okay, we're gonna wrap it. We're
52
gonna
minutes,
debate-
and so give us a shout at. Before we wrap up the show,
Today still.
Hang on, our Maven's on a rant. Hang on, we got a Maven rant here.
before we wrap up the show, we've got
Only we had headphones. That's all I can say.
we've got a call from one of our listeners.
Oh my goodness! And I
And,
promised I was going to mention him in the last show. I didn't mention him in this show. So, but I'm going to send him a lot of emails.
So
Hey, check out the Facebook. I made a great Australian Sydney postcard with all the neat photographs. Our top
correspondent
ask-
from
yeah.
from
Our ask-
Australia.
Ask Find Buy.
So here's what Craig Griffiths had to say. He has a question that he called in, and I'll just play it right now.
Okay.
Hi, Andrew and Bob. It's Craig from Ask Find Buy down in Sydney. I watched the YouTube video of you guys trying the beer. So happy that you enjoyed it, and I'm glad it goes well with pizza. The thing I just want to ask you guys, do you think social media is actually going to destroy the web as we know it, the need for static pages? I mean, if you were a small business, I'd have a eBay store, I'd have a Facebook page, and a Twitter. Maybe Buzz, link them all together. And I wouldn't physically need a presence on the web other than those 3 things. Are web pages, as we know it, going to end, do you think? Keep up the good work, and I'll talk to you later. Bye, boys.
So basically, his question is, do you really need a website anymore because of social media? You can have a Facebook page, you can have a Twitter
Yeah.
account, and do all this stuff.
He's saying, is the static page dead because of social media?
Oh, yeah,
Is social
static
media
for sure.
killing the static page?
And I think I think the status page still lives. What do you think, Andrew?
Well, it depends on what you mean by static page. I
Well,
think
a page that's like a website. Stand hi. I got this product. This
Yeah.
is what we do, and this is our family. And by the way, this is and contact us, which is kind of
like
ridiculous.
a static page could also be a blog site, but it's not very static because there's always new information.
No,
coming on it.
no. A static page, like a website, is the traditional. Sorry,
No, but
interpretation is like a website is, hi, you land on the website. Here's our products. Here's our stuff. Here's like career opportunities so people can join the company. All those type of things. I think it still has a place because you can do HR job searches on Facebook, but still you have to drive people somewhere.
Yeah, that's my
You
point.
don't want people
Between a
calling
brochure
you
and a
to.
functional tool, and I think the part of the problem here is that people are combining these concepts into one single unit. Social media is something that fits a website, a web architecture, but it doesn't necessarily need to be out part of it.
Yeah, it
No.
doesn't
A
have
lot
to
of
kill
people-
it.
A lot of people put up websites just so that they have an online brochure.
Yeah, and I think that in terms of whatever you're doing or whatever you're promoting in social media, you still have to have a home on the web that you're directing the traffic to. I think that's very important. Something that you own, real estate on the web that you own, and you own the domain and
.com,
your .com or whatever.
Yeah, we're still passing out business cards, so you need a website for that same basic purpose.
Yes.
To announce.
Yeah,
yourself to the world.
I think what
Yeah.
it is, you got to look at it as like with social media, it's like a radio campaign, and YouTube is like a TV campaign. But really, that's all nice and everything. But you still have to, when people are interested in your content, really want to know what you're about, then you have your webpage. What the problem is that people don't recognize that web pages are supposed to do that. They got these web pages that try to do all this stuff that they don't need to do anymore. And you have pages and pages and pages of completely irrelevant, useless information.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily irrelevant from an SEO point of view because it's still going to bring people to your page.
Yeah, but what really is going to happen in the future is like people are going to get to know you through Facebook, and people are going to through Twitter, and they're going to build a relationship, and then they go say, you know what, this guy Bob sounds cool. I think I want to check out what he does, and then you go to the website.
Yeah,
it's not like you go to the website saying, hey, look,
But
he's on Facebook.
At
Now
the
I'm going
same
to go
time,
to Facebook.
At the same time, let's just take Craig's argument a little bit further. On every one of those profiles, you have the opportunity to put, or one of those platforms, you have the opportunity to put a profile on there with all your information. So unless you've got something more to say than, hey, this is Bob, and I can do this for you and generate a marketing campaign, blah 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 blah, give me a call here, then really you probably don't need a home on the web. But if you have a lot more to say and you have a complicated product, or you have
Well, then you should have a blog post.
then you need a
podcast.
a website with a blog, with a podcast, with all your
Well-
social
About
media combined.
what we're talking about is a dialogue.
Yeah,
Okay, a web page is like a brochure. If we use the comparisons here, you still need to put out information. You still need to make yourself accessible. People still need to know about you. And then when it comes to actually having a dialogue, if you have a store, you still need to have somebody who's a point of contact with someone else who's going to come into that store. Facebook serves a social need in terms of people being social animals, but a company that is selling something, I think what we'll be seeing is a spin-off when companies begin to get a handle on establishing that dialogue and managing that dialogue. They're going to be bringing in their own social media in-house. You go to sites like Apple, they have their own blogs, they have their own people that are interacting. What will happen is that those will evolve into a much more dynamic
and we
environment than what
briefly
they are now.
mentioned diaspora.
Yeah.
Before
Because, a
in the
company
beginning of the show, and so
its own-
you can set up your own company
When you put
site
it out on
as a social
it's like
network.
taking your
So
stuff
there's
and
all
dumping it
sorts of
into a
things
public
that
hole.
you can do. But maybe, hey Bob, what do you think? Why don't we open the next show with a continuation on this topic?
Oh yeah, and just to let you know, like we got like a ton of shows in the can already. So hang on, the Maven. The problem with Mavens, they have a lot of knowledge.
The Maven is muted.
Okay, we mute the Maven. So, anyways, the concept is that. Sorry, I said. It's just a crazy world I live in. I tell you, I got the black beer in me. I got the notes in front of me. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, man. No, anyways, back to it. Christmas is coming. I'm all excited. I'm thinking about stuff, and I canned the show on the 29th. But you guys won't even notice that because we're 4 shows behind because Andrew is too busy not posting the shows. I can't believe we were supposed to be like a week behind. We're 4 weeks behind.
Yeah, because
3
it
weeks
comes
behind.
out once every week and a half instead of once every week. But we'll get that straightened out.
It doesn't really matter.
You know, it was supposed to be like live to hard drive, and that was going to be the concept. And the first 2 shows were, if you listen to the first 2 shows, there was no editing, except
And
for
now
the
you edit
intro
a bit.
and the outro.
It's all my
and
fault.
I knew once I started to edit that it would be a slippery slope, and then I'm be spending 2 hours an episode editing the.
It's harsh. It is harsh.
So, maybe for the new year we'll go back to the
Hey.
live to hard drive.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I'm into it. Well, either that or we'll just do more special reports.
Yeah.
We could do more
Either
special,
way.
like 15, 20 minutes. Hey, what do you guys? Here's a shout out. Here's a second. Here's a second
Yeah,
shout
we
out.
want to do that too.
We
Yeah.
love to do some live streaming, but
We did.
basically we got to. Hey, somebody donates to the camera to do that. That's all I got to say.
This will do it.
Yeah, I could bring mine to mine.
Yeah, we just got to get bandwidth in this place.
The problem is we had Wi-Fi for the first 2 or 3 episodes, and then this is the first day that we've had it since.
I know. There's like Wi-Fi. This place
It's
sucks.
just it's not reliable.
We're just gonna have to sneak in here and do some crazy LAN wiring with the management not noticing. Oh, dun dun dun. Hi, we're borrowing your bar, but we're
All
gonna
right,
rewire
so,
it because we want to do something on crazy.
So that's
Anyways, we're running away. Thank you for listening. It was amazing. Welcome to Bunker Show. Welcome, blah, blah, blah. Drink lots of black beer. And Andrew.
And call us at 1-877-636-1474.
Absolutely.
And we'll get in the
and-
show, and we'll talk to you next week.
Yeah, next week. Well, next week, and then the week after that, and then there's Christmas. Party hardy. Get lots of Christmas. And everybody asked for podcasting equipment for Christmas from Santa because I hear he's a very generous guy.
Yeah.
And
If you plug him in your show.
yeah, exactly. Hey, Sandra, you are the coolest man.
Yeah,
and I
sorry.
want... Oh, actually, I got everything I want, man. I got a great host. I got a great host here. I got great fans. What can I say? I got a great mic, maybe a thicker pen, maybe glasses that I could read this stuff because I'm an old bugger. But other than that, that's about it, man. How about you? What do you want for Christmas, Andrew? A baby.
A Heil PR40.
A
No,
Heil
that's
PR40. Oh, yeah, a baby. And then a Heil PR40.
Yeah.
Or maybe not.
no, I want a new
condenser, and then the
studio.
baby.
I want a new studio, and guess what?
You got one.
I'm getting it.
Yeah, I know, but he used
Studio
to... 604.
604.
I
Coming
know.
soon.
The only reason he's got it is because he's got a baby on the way.
Yep. True.
I know. It's a good way to get a
Solarium.
big place.
Yeah.
So all you guys that are, married or semi-married or have girlfriends, really, if you want a big place, you want to do a podcast, you're going to have a baby. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
Hey, Podcast Answer, man, look at it. He's super successful. He got all the shows. How many kids? He's got 5 kids, man.
No, he's got 3 kids, doesn't he?
I thought you didn't know he's got 5 kids, man. He's got 5. The Podcast Answer, man. We will get back to you with the answer on that next show.
Yeah,
We're
he's got
signing
three-
off right
three
now.
kids. All right.
We're way over time.
Talk
Stop
to you
it.
next
Stop
week.
it, Andrew.
And
Bye.
that's it.